Under what circumstances did you meet with then Congressman Bob Filner?
It was a professional meeting set up by an ex-congressman, Jim Bates, to let Bob Filner know how important our government military education program was and how many veterans in active duty we served, not only in San Diego, but across the country.
And you had told me on the phone yesterday that this was also about what to do with this land.
Yes, one of the projects that we had been working on was some property that was near Naval Training Center, the old Naval Training Center, and potential uses for that. And we were interested in his perspective of that property.
And so what year was that?
This was in 2011, the summer of 2011.
And what happened during the meeting?
It was a standard briefing that you would do for a U.S. congressman. I had several staff there with me. He seemed casually interested in the topic. It probably lasted about 20 minutes. As we were leaving and after everyone had shook hands, he asked me if I would stay behind for a moment. My staff went out the door. I was in a closed room, and as I recall, there were no windows in it. And he grabbed my left hand and looked at the wedding ring and twirled it around and asked if it was a real wedding band. And I said, yes, it was, about 25 years worth of wedding band. He then asked me if it could come off while I was in D.C. and if I would go out with him. And I said I really didn't think so. And at that point, he pulled my hand closer to him and he reached over to kiss me. I turned my head at that moment, and on the side of my face, I got a very wet, saliva-filled kiss, including feeling his tongue on my cheek.
And what did you say to him?
I didn't say anything. I snatched my hand back and I walked out of the room and I left to get to the safety of my staff.
When you went to see your staff outside, what did you say to them?
I told them exactly what had happened. I told them that it was one of the most disconcerting confrontations I've ever had. I was appalled. I was disgusted. I couldn't believe the arrogance of this person willing to do that to somebody that was there on a standard professional meeting. I was totally, I probably can't tell you how angry I was.
What was the reaction of the staffers?
That they found him smarmy, that they didn't feel like he was what they thought a U.S. congressman would be, that they too were pretty disgusted with the behavior. And I told them right then and there I would never meet with him personally ever again.
Did you or did any of your staffers at all talk about reporting this conduct to an authority?
We did not, and I think for two reasons. One, some shock in what happened, and two, Filner made it very clear how powerful he thought he was. He discussed that in the meeting, the kind of authority that he had, that he'd been pulling strings all over San Diego for many years. And he really made us feel like if we did report something like that, there could be repercussions with our district. And we run a college district that is taxpayer funded, and it's important that we don't get on the wrong side of politicians. That was our perspective. I'm sure that if I had gone to someone else, they might have said, "No, don't you worry about that. Let's go forward with this."
Describe what he said about the power he thought he had.
He had done a number of speeches about his involvement with veterans and active duty, and that he sat on powerful committees that could help move legislation forward that would support those kind of programs. We were there to tell him all that our district had done in supporting military and veterans, and how every penny that we brought in was again turned right around and used to support them in a more broad way. And we were hoping that we could get his interest and support to even do a better job with what we do with veterans.
Last week, as you know, a number of very high-profile women, women who hold powerful positions in San Diego, well-educated women, well-spoken women, came forward and described what they thought were inappropriate comments, inappropriate advances made toward them from Bob Filner. how do you perceive the targets of these advances? How, do you think there's an element of power in this?
The arrogance and stupidity of it is boggling to me. You have to understand that the same week I had this meeting with Bob Filner is at the very same week that the Congressman Weiner scandal was hitting the papers with his texting of his private parts. It was at the same time, and it was boggling to me that a man could have so little respect of women, that could have the arrogance to do this to anyone, much less a fairly high-powered professional group. Very disconcerting.
So fast forward to 2013, Donna Fry, two other lawyers, call for Mayor Filner to step down amid these sexual harassment allegations. It's 2 years after the incident that you described. Did anyone contact you?
No, no one contacted me, but I have to tell you, I became even more angry when I read in the paper that he'd balled a piece of paper up and threw it in the face of one of the women attorneys. I knew this man had no respect for women. I knew that he had predatory tactics, just based on my own personal experience. But hearing him go forward, hearing other women go forward with what they had been subjugated to by him, gelled in my mind that this man was a monster. And so I reached out and I contacted State Senator Toni Atkins and told her my story. And she said, "Oh my God, Lisa, I'm so sorry. But let me reach out to Donna Fry and have her contact you. And any support that you need in this, we'll make sure it happens." And so Donna Fry contacted me twice and listened to the story and said that she felt that it was important that all women stand up and tell what happened. And so I'm very grateful for this opportunity to do so.
Okay. Is there anything I haven't asked that you'd like to talk about?
No, I just, if there's anything that I can do to encourage other women, whether they're here in San Diego or Washington, to come forward, to let them know that this man should not be representing anybody. He is a disgrace to men. He's a disgrace to a representative of any kind, not only of San Diego, but of California when he was a congressman.
Lisa Curtin, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.